Hello. How you feeling tonight? I'm very sweaty and a little busy right now. I'm trying to write something tonight, and but I wanted to get this video done before midnight because today today is the 30th anniversary of Batman. Yes, the movie named Batman. And that was a big deal for me as a kid. For a lot of reasons. Obviously, I enjoy the film. I watched the movie recently. I still enjoy the movie. But to me, the biggest thing in that movie, the thing about it that changed me the most, more than anything else, the music. And I don't mean Prince. Okay, obviously, I was a kid in the 80s. Of course, I liked Prince. I like those songs. They're good songs. But for me, watching the movie, I got super into the soundtrack itself, the score, if you will. And it took me a while, because again, no internet, it took me a while to figure out who made the music and how do I get the music. Obviously, subsequent viewings, I managed to pick out his name, his name in the credits, Danny Elfman. It would be a long time before I figured out that he was also a musician in the 80s, although, honestly, to this day, I don't know if I've heard any of his Oingo Boingo stuff. I just don't know what it sounds like. I know he was in a band named Oingo Boingo. Maybe he was Oingo Boingo, but I can't name a single Oingo Boingo song. But I can name a ton of his goddamn movie credits. But yeah, so it took me a long time to figure out what that was even called, because the Batman soundtrack was a huge hit in the 89, but Batman soundtrack was the Prince album, which of course only had like 3 songs that were actually in the movie. The rest of it were just songs that Prince wrote, and just they were, inspired by the movie, or he made them and they didn't fit them in the movie and they're still in the soundtrack with the Batman logo on it. So while I'm sure I bought that album at some point, I was really interested in how do I get this goddamn music that's in the background of everything that's so goddamn cool. Anyway, I think eventually I found it in a record store. The logo was different. While the Prince album was just the famous Batman logo, which was everywhere in 1989. That logo was everywhere. Buttons, shirts, hats, everything. There's even an old like Bugs Bunny commercial for like Warner Brothers merchandise. And the whole thing is just him holding a catalog that is a black Batman catalog. Like that's the entire catalog. It's just a Batman catalog. But the score album, the music that's all by Danny Elfman, that album was a cover of like the Bat Plane, whatever you call it, the Bat Plane in front of the moon, that one shot. That's the score album. So when I found that, I was so excited. I bought it, probably on tape. I don't think I found it on CD till years later. And that is what I listened to the most. More than anything, more than any Bat Dance or Party Man, I loved that Elfman music. And just going forward, that became my thing. When I watched the movie, I'd listen to the music and I'd try and find out who made the music, and I'd try to know the names of people who made famous music. But for a long time, like Danny Elfman was like just the guy I knew, like, oh, that's the guy who makes the really great music. And he's done a lot of great movies since, obviously. I mean, personally speaking, I like Batman a lot. But Batman Returns, his music in Batman Returns is incredible. He gives these sort of themes to each of the major characters, and it's kind of sad, and then there's the song that's during the costume dance, where I think he wrote the song with Susie and the Banshees, like this collaboration or something. And God, that song, oh my God. So I think by the time Batman Returns came out, I think the only CD that really was worth selling was the goddamn score soundtrack. And again, with the Danny Elfman, Susie and the Susie. Yes, those famous artists with that song on it. Oh my God. But yeah, so obviously the thing I'm writing tonight will share more opinions of mine about Batman the film. So I will link to that somehow in this video, even though I'm not finished writing it. But yeah, to me, Batman was first and foremost about music. And that music just empowered me for years to come. It was definitely like, that was my go-to driving soundtrack. It's like, we got to drive the car for a while, put on Batman, I'm going to start speeding. Thankfully, I only got one speeding ticket my entire life in America. Japan doesn't count because I was barely speeding. Anyway, it's very hot in this room, and I'm running out of breath, and I got to finish writing. So, good night, everybody. I'm not Batman. I love you.